Hello, everybody. This is Professor Hatsey. It's our agenda and our week number 7 introduction video for Business 630 Corporate Finance. A lot going on this week as we review case number 2. We again review and do a little bit of pre-work in Electrics Incorporated capital budget case, which is due at the last week of our term. We're going to talk about the articles that you were asked to read for last week, and we're going to talk about leasing. All these are strategies that drive capital decision making. Different strategies for return on investment, risk, alternatives besides just purchasing and leasing, which some of you might even know about leasing. We'll discuss these this week. There's a great spreadsheet in week number 7 that explains the lease versus buy discounted cash flow spreadsheet, which we'll talk about. And also this week you have case number 3, which is a capital budgeting analysis with a base case. Then you're going to be doing a risk analysis, a scenario and sensitivity analysis, and then answer a couple of questions in regard to that. So we'll talk about all this in our lecture and in class this week. But let me just take a look. Let me just show you a couple of things to pay attention to as we begin week 7. Here's our case study number 3, which is a Word or PDF document that you download, and you're given all the inputs. And your job is to put it into a base analysis with a 7-year life and determine the net present value, internal rate of return, profitability index, and payback in years, just like we practiced in class the last couple of weeks. And also we'll be looking at that again in our lecture this week 7. But you have to put together the spreadsheet and then determine based on those variables, and then determine a risk analysis for scenario and sensitivity. The 3 questions you need to answer: how does this capital budget risk analysis fit into a balance scorecard analysis? Remember, the balance scorecard analysis was one of our articles that you read last week. It has to do with, it's almost like another way of doing a SWOT analysis, but it's called balance scorecard. Second question: would you recommend or approve of this project? Explain. Does the risk analysis affect your decision? And then the final question, how does the risk analysis affect net present value? Show your calculations in the sensitivity analysis. But you need to concentrate on these 2 questions. I don't want a lot of writing, just answer them very quickly. You can do the answers on the spreadsheet, or you can submit a second file with those answers. But I need you to answer those 2 questions into the context of your analysis with these variables given to you in case number 3. This work is due at the end of week number 7 and represents 15% of your course grade. Another analysis that we're going to be talking about this week is lease versus buy. And this is a major issue, especially for small businesses who don't have the capital resources to purchase assets. They lease. And just like we lease furniture, we lease apartments. We don't buy houses, we lease apartments. We lease computers, we lease office equipment. These are leasing instead of buying. What's the advantage of leasing? You don't have to borrow money. You don't have to put out and pay back the money over time. There's no interest expense. And the negatives of leasing are you don't get a tax deduction for the interest or depreciation expenses incurred on that asset. And also, you don't own it. You have to give it back at the end of its lease period. So we're going to talk about this as an alternative method of capital financing for especially small corporations and small businesses. This spreadsheet is included in week number 7. We'll be reviewing this in our analysis in class this week. So a lot to go over in this week number 7 here, and as we wind down the month of July. Case number 2 review, Electrics Incorporated, beginning in that discussion. And also I'll have the dates in class this week of our review sessions coming up on a couple of weekends. Our discussion of our articles, discussion of lease as an alternative to capital fundraising, and an introduction work on our case number 3, which is due at the end of the week. So look forward to working with you all, and we'll see you online or in class this week. Adios.